Hi, this is Cynthia Cabrera. I am president of the Texas Hemp Business Council, also chief strategy officer for Hometown Hero. And today I'm here with Nicole D'Ortona, who is the comms director for THBC.
Hello, lovely to finally meet everybody. And we are here today celebrating the veto of SB3.
Woo woo! Yes, I think the last video I said something like, we'll come back and we'll celebrate. So take today, everybody celebrate, it's gonna be great. And I think we should start with, where are we, right? We had the veto last night. It was an exciting night for everybody. I'm sure we're all sleep deprived. And we had the veto. The governor also called for a special session a month from now, so July 21st. So that will go almost through the end of August. So we're preparing the ground game and getting everything together now for then, but again, today we can bask in the veto like we earned it. We all worked really hard. And I wanted Nicole here today so we could talk about all the stuff that THBC did and kind of like how we got here, because it's really important that people know that things don't happen in a vacuum. Right? It's not one thing that happens, it's a culmination of things. It's a lot of different things that happen at different points in time, they're inflection points. And so I just kind of wanted to go over, and it has been so exhausting and so little time. I haven't had a personal life for like 6 months. And so I know people have wanted all kinds of minutia and details and information. It's been really hard to get to everything along with, all the work that had to get done. But this is an update about everything that was going on, or most everything that was going on behind the scenes. Let's start from the beginning. This shit show started in 2024, in March of 2024, when Lieutenant Dan said he was coming for us. I mean, the interim charges were released in April of 2024. The first Senate State Affairs Committee hearing was on May 29th of 2024. In June, we started THBC. We had some jokers come out of the woodwork and, decide that they were going to challenge everybody for everything. But, eventually they crawled back under the rocks from whence they came. October, there was another hearing, and this one was about the drinks, which is pivotal or important, because this year we saw that there was a big division between the beer people and the package store people over the drinks. But in October of 2024, it was the 17th to be exact, there was a drink hearing. I think Lucas might have been the only company that showed up. I was at an investor conference in Austin, which is weird because it was a marijuana investor conference, and I don't know why you would come to Texas for a marijuana conference. But anyway, I remember Bayou City was there and they were making a pitch, and it was the same day that they were having the hearing at the Capitol, and all the beverage lobbyists were there, all the package store lobbyists were there, and Lucas was there. And so that was interesting. In December, we started fundraising. Thank you to Ernie, who is amazing. Oh my God, that guy is a godsend. 2025 session started in January. I will say things started to fall apart kind of quick. The governor did have a 60-day privilege to get all his priorities taken care of first, so we didn't really get cranking until March. But in February, folks went out and started trying to carve out their own part of the industry and, throwing different categories under the bus. And that started in February. In April, another association went and tried to carve out their own deals and offer up concessions for the entire industry without talking to the entire industry. We did try to talk to them. They basically told us to screw off, that they weren't going to work with us because we were associated with Hometown Hero and we had sued the state. And at that point I was like, you mean the lawsuit that's kept all of you in business? But it was clear that collaboration was not going to happen there. On April 7th, we had the first hearing in the House. And that's when the beer wholesalers started playing dirty. They took a video of me and they edited it out of context and sent it out to everybody in the legislature. So it was just dirty dealings from the beginning. And then in May, we had the second House hearing, and everybody knows there were hundreds of people there. One hemp company, I think MC Nutraceuticals, testified neutral on the bill while everybody else testified in opposition. Hundreds of people in opposition and I think 19 people in favor of. June 2nd, we had a press conference that was very successful. We had a lot of media there. That was the last day of session. They actually tried to screw us out of that press conference by changing up the time. They pulled out some arcane rule and forced us to change the time of the press conference. So we had to alert like the 200 media outlets that the time had changed to an hour and a half earlier so that we could comply with this arcane rule. But it was super successful. And I want to thank everybody who came out to that press conference, and it was all last minute. Colton Luther, Liz, Akia Khan, Nick, and Ana Gabriela. I mean, the whole Hometown Hero team that came out, John Elmore. I mean, just at a moment's notice, everybody was ready to go and pivot and do what they had to do. And so and I'm sure I forgot people, but I thank everybody for coming and being so supportive. And then at the same time that all this was happening, we were running comms campaigns. We were doing tons of interviews and press releases. We supported the veterans who had their own PR comms campaign going. It was just a lot of different efforts. And actually, I'll let Nicole talk about all the social media stuff that we did, which kudos to Nicole. This was the single most successful cannabis campaign ever. And I say cannabis because it was hemp, but there's never been a marijuana campaign that was this successful. So kudos to you, Nicole.
Thank you, Cynthia. And for anyone who needs to know, hemp is in fact cannabis. We see a lot of things online constantly about, legalize cannabis, regulate cannabis. Hemp is cannabis, guys. And we did. With the help of the industry, we executed one of the most successful cannabis campaigns in history, and we could not have done it without the Texas industry hemp members. Within the campaigns that were executed, from a social media, a display, and video ad campaigns, we had over 8 million impressions that went out on every single social channel. We pushed TV ads, we pushed ads through the Capitol. Everywhere that you can imagine, we had creative going out to activate these campaigns. When it came to what we delivered at the press conference, at this point we have over 154,000 petition signatures from people across Texas, and we had 8,000 handwritten letters that were delivered to the governor up until this point. This was a coordinated effort by everybody in this industry, and we had people all over Texas getting letters from voters, customers, industry members, and writing very, very heartfelt stories. Some of these letters, it made us cry to see what would happen if these products were taken away. And this goes beyond, Delta 9 and Delta 8. People that are just using full spectrum CBD products, we're about to lose access. And the efforts that we put into this fight helped to contribute to that veto that we got last night. In addition to the industry members, we also coordinated with members of the VFW and the Grunt Style Foundation. The veterans in those groups worked with us very closely, and we helped to deliver those messages through the Capitol and made sure that those got in front of the governor as well. So thank you to all of the veterans who worked with us and to everybody else out there who fought and served for our country. We appreciate you. And we're so happy that we had the opportunity to work with all of you.
I will also say that in addition to all those efforts, we had personal letters from former Supreme Court justices go to the governor. We had legal memos that went to the governor. I mean, the veterans applied relentless pressure. J.D. McCormick from the Healthy Alternatives Association, he pulled some strings and he got some phone calls from very well-placed people in Florida to talk about that veto with the governor, with our governor. We threw so many different things at this. And the idea that one thing got this veto is beyond ridiculous. It was an effort by everybody in this industry, all the people who showed up at our offices delivering the letters or the petitions, all the people who showed up for the hearings that made their voices heard, all the people who submitted videos for the Faces of Texas Hemp campaign. I mean, all of those things helped apply pressure with the governor's office. So the idea that one thing did it is inaccurate, right? Stupid, actually. It was all of you. And all of you made a difference, and everybody's efforts made a difference. And we wouldn't be here if everybody hadn't put in that level of effort. And we couldn't have done it, right? They also, in the governor's explanation for why he was vetoing, he brought up the lawsuit that was filed in Arkansas a couple of years ago, and we helped to organize that lawsuit. And as a matter of fact, JD actually had donated to that lawsuit. Lifted Herb, they donated to that lawsuit. There was a chain of stores, I don't even know if they're still selling THC products, but they had donated to that lawsuit. But that lawsuit set us up to show and have an example for the governor of what happens when a state is enjoined because they try to push unconstitutional regulation. So it was like everything just works together, right? It's a beautiful thing. It's synchronicity. It's really awesome. And I do have some people to thank, but I wanted to ask Nicole, do you have other stuff?
So I did want to touch on the Faces of Texas Hemp campaign. So the campaign that we launched, and again, coordinated effort by the industry, and I want to thank everybody who submitted videos for that. Your stories were heard, and your videos went far. They went far and wide, and I think it was a big step towards helping to destigmatize the use of these products, but also showing the people that use them aren't the stereotypical person that Lieutenant Dan constantly refers to. These people span far and wide, and they are every single demographic that you can possibly imagine. In addition to all the work that was done since the veto campaign kicked off, when we were still in session and we were pushing people to reach out to legislators and express their opposition to SB3, we had over 31,000 people send messages to their legislators, which is truly an astonishing number of people. And that doesn't even count the tens of thousands of phone calls that were also made from voters and industry members alike. So to everyone who sent messages, to everybody who called, and everyone who participated in this fight, thank you.
So I want to thank some people, and I'm sure I will leave somebody out, and it doesn't mean I don't love you or I am not grateful. It means I'm on 3 hours of sleep, and I'm trying to get everybody, but these are just like over the top. And I want to start, of course, with Hometown Hero, because Hometown Hero are my family, and they are so supportive, and they let me run wild and do whatever I do. Arkansas lawsuit. And I mean, it's just such a great team and just such wonderful people. And they have been there for, this effort every step of the way. And so I'm super grateful to them. Hunter and Holden from TCF, total rock stars, super supportive from the beginning. Of course, Ernie Chiaccio, sorry, Ernie, I love you. JJ, you're amazing, JJ Combs. JD has been such a helpful partner, resource, just unfailingly there. And so I cannot thank you enough, JD. And none of these are in any particular order, by the way. Tara Latil from American Shaman and American Shaman Above and Beyond. This woman was here all the time. She sat in my house with me for days with Nicole and Heidi Schultz from Rectitude Partners, going through thousands of letters before we could hand them into the governor. It was not nothing. She gave up her family vacation to do it. I mean, our eyes were crossed from reading so many letters. But Tara, American Shaman, absolute rock stars all the way. Nicole, total rock star. We would not be here without you. John Elmore, is one of us. He just amazing. Happy Cactus, so supportive. They do it right. They showed up with a bunch of letters. We love you guys so much. And I want to thank Jennifer Weiss, and I said Heidi, Michelle Bodian for always checking up on me, and all our attorneys that helped. And I kept them up until the middle of the night all the time, writing legislation, rewriting legislation, editing, reviewing, analysis. Andrea Steele, Neil Wilmer, Amanda Taylor, Craig Enoch, Jonathan Havens, all our lobby teams, and of course Tammy Wall, who was invaluable. You guys are so loyal and so awesome and so wonderful, and it is our privilege to work with you guys. So thank you. And everybody else who I didn't name by name, it's either because I forgot or I'm tired, or I'll get to it in the next video, but I love all of you. And for all the shit talkers out there, screw off. Yeah, as part of all the information and all the letters and everything that we dropped off to Governor Abbott's office, we also dropped off in addition to the legal memos and all that, we dropped off regulatory structures, regulatory schemes, and all this information that he could work with, and he's had that for over a month. So that's in the works, and we're really happy about that. And I do want to say that our enemy was Lieutenant Dan and Senator Perry. They were the ones who said they were coming to get us. And I will say that internally, turns out we had our own enemies. And there were people who shit-talked us and criticized us while doing nothing, and always had something to say, always had an opinion, always this, always that, but we won anyway. So we got a veto despite the people who didn't help and only criticized. And you know what? I forgive you. So I do. I forgive you because, God is good and the universe loves everybody. So, that's on you. But really, thank you to everyone. We're not done. We have to go into a special session, but we've already delivered the regulatory package to the governor. We did that a month ago. So that's already done. And we just need to make sure we come out of the special okay.